Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of It's About Time. Today I am flying a little solo without Drew today. As promised, I will be making the episode My Collection. Just a little note before we start this episode. I was actually just recording for over 31 minutes, around 33 minutes, and it turned out that the file size was much too large, and then it kept recording, but it went into another video. So we're gonna kind of just completely redo this video, and this one should work. We're gonna make it a lot shorter. So before get into my episode, or this is actually a perfect way to segue into my episode. What's on the wrist? And as usual, this is my Orient Monarch. Let me just cover my face a little bit so you guys can see the watch. This is my Orient Monarch hand winding power reserve. I absolutely love the watch, and believe it or not, this is the only watch currently in my collection. I love the beautiful blue Breguet hands. They add so much character to this watch. And the beautiful blue second hand, as you guys can see, is just nicely sweeping along there. The nice also blue power reserve hand at the top of the dial near the 12 o'clock. The only downside to this watch is it does not have a date window. I said that if this watch had had a date window, this watch would have been like the most perfect, only watch that I would ever really want to own kind of piece. This here is a Hadley Roma 18 millimeter wide Pilot stainless steel solid link bracelet, which I love. What's kind of cool about this watch is the, let me get it here actually, it's on this side. The bracelet pops off, kind of like what a diver's watch would do, and you can extend this if you need be for any reason. But it also has the really convenient pin for adjusting the size of the band even more, which a lot of watches don't come with nowadays, which I happen to love. Such a solid stainless steel band, but I also love the fact that, as you guys can maybe tell from this, and we've done our episode on automatics and quartzes, there's no rotor in the back of this watch. However, it's not a quartz, it is a hand wind, meaning that the crown needs to just be turned every morning for the power reserve to go from 0 all the way up to 40. So it gives me a little bit more of a personal connection with this watch, and I absolutely love it. It was extremely affordable. It was under $200, and the accuracy on it is anywhere from about 3 to 5 seconds a day, which is extremely reliable, well within COSC standards. This watch clearly is not. It's not even Swiss made. So I happen to love this watch. I'm a firm believer nowadays, after owning many watches, which you guys are about to find out with my list, that it doesn't have to be Swiss made to be quality, no matter what anybody says. And how long it lasts, how long does any watch last? You have to care for them and make sure that if they, service them and get them pressure and water tested and everything else like that. Don't bang them up too much. Don't drop them. You have to, if you really care for an automatic watch, I almost don't care what kind of automatic watch you have. It will last you quite a long time compared to a quartz where the movement will eventually go and you are going to have to replace it. And usually that's going to cost more than the watch. So without further ado, a lot shorter this time, I'm going to run down this time my list of watches that I've owned, and then maybe I'll get into a few of them and why I've sold some of them, or what I liked and what I didn't like. So the first one I had was a Rolex 16233, two-tone stainless steel, 18 karat gold. It was an Oyster Perpetual, date just. Also had a Breitling B13048, Omega Constellation, quartz and automatic. Tag Heuer Carrera 5, Tissot PRC 200, a few Lucien Piccard watches, the Movado Museum watches, one with a leather band and one with a tungsten carbide band, an Oceanaut. It's one that my sister got me for my birthday. Bulova, I've had quite a few of these. I've had the Marine Star, the Moonwatch, the current reissue, the Precisionist, the Accutron 2, an old school, more from the 70s tuning fork, the Gemini Automatic, as well as the Bulova Kirkwood. I had the Citizen Atomic Timekeeper, which you sync to the atomic clock. It syncs to the atomic clock every morning at 2 a.m., as well as the Citizen Eco Drive, the Aromatic 1912, which I had just recently. Oris, I've had the BC4 chronograph, the Oris Williams day date, Atelier complication with the moon phase day and the date, and the 24-hour or the GMT. Subdial, Oris Arctic's day date pointer, and the regulator as well. With Orient, as you guys know, my Monarch, as well as a Quartz day date. For Seiko, I've had a couple of their dive watches and one Olympic Quartz watch. Knockoff watches, we're going to get into that for a second. I've had Rolex, Cartier, and Patek. The Fortis Cosmonauts, or Cosmonautus. That's also a reissue from watches from, I believe it was the 90s, 80s. It was when Russian space exploration was huge back in the day. Sea-Gull as well. Hamilton, Jazzmaster, as well as Viewmatics. Those were both automatics. The Sea-Gull was automatic. Even the knockoffs were automatics as well. The Certina DS2 Chrono, 1/100th of a second. That one was a quartz. Mito, the Great Wall automatic, as well as the All Dial automatic. Absolutely great. Quorum Reserve Demarche automatic. With Rado, I've had the original D-Star. Rado Voyager, more of a vintage inspired piece. The R5.5 ceramic, and I guess chronograph. And the Rado Centrix, which is a open skeleton look to it. It's very cool. The Jeager-Lecoulltre Heron. Eterna Tangaroa, very briefly, I had that. And then the Concorde, those are both quartz, the Mariner, as well as the Centurion. So we're at 8 minutes right now. Let's start to go through some of the watches that I've had based off of the ones that I did mention. The Rolex 16233, the Breitling B13048, the Omega Constellation, the Tag Heuer Carrera 5, and yeah, you know, with those watches, those are they're very beautiful watches. Although Tag Heuer, Drew and I have done episodes in the past, so that's a little bit of an exception. Nowadays they're doing things a little differently. I'll give them credit, but a little bit of an overpriced brand for the kind of parts that they put into their watches. They have a tendency to break down a little quicker, a little bit more of a nightmare to service, so we tend to stay away from those. Check out our past episodes of our worst brands. With the Rolex, Breitling, and Omega, all really beautiful watches. However, they really were out of my price range to begin with. I probably shouldn't have bought them. Rolex got a lot of history to it. It's a great watch and a brand, but a little bit too expensive, and it doesn't really fit like my brand or whatever it is. I need something that is affordable. The Rolex is not affordable. In terms of reliability, yes, it is. It performed like the same, like 5 seconds fast, like every day, which was absolutely fantastic. Having the date in it was nice, but again, I would prefer to have a power reserve. And I don't want to have a watch just for the status of it. And I felt like that's just too much of a status watch for me. Just not a fan of the Rolex. But again, they're huge history, great brand, and they sell very well. Breitling, Really liked the watch. It was great. Again, it's a little bit more of like a status watch, a little bit more big and bulky, more used for you know pilots aviation. It's not really where I am. And it's a great brand. Although they did just have majority sale 80% to CVC corporation or group. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen with them. And Tissot and Tag Heuer, of course, you guys know, on our least favorite watch brands list. Luge Picard, I was never really a fan of that I had. Definitely cheaper, but not well made. There are some watches out there that are a little cheaper, but they're better made. But Lucian Picard, not so much. I wasn't a big fan of them. The watches that I really enjoyed, honestly, I would absolutely recommend Bulova to almost anybody. All the watches were great, although my only criticism of them now, I think that they do make them a little too big. I wish that they would go back to smaller sizing, although the movements possibly with their higher precision movements maybe can't accommodate for that size. But absolutely great watch. I can't complain about it whatsoever. Um, so that was Bulova. Great. And I wish that they would do more with their automatics. I feel like the automatics have taken a bit of a hit, and their precisionist line has come up, which I guess I understand. But I wish that they would bring back the automatics a little bit more. My Citizen, absolutely fantastic watches. Between the Echo Drive and the atomic timekeeping technology, I really can't say a bad thing about them. Very accurate, beautiful watches, great materials. Some of them, the new ones, even have titanium cases, so it makes them very lightweight. I happen to like them a lot. It's the reason why I own them, of course. Um, let's see, the Oris. Oris is an absolutely fantastic line. They pretty much offer, I say, like a watch for every occasion or a watch for every style. They have some dress watches, they have some aviation watches, they have some divers watches, watches that span all different budgets. They also make all automatics. They use the Salida based SW like 200 and 500 movements, I believe. They're absolutely great watches. I never really had a problem with any of them. Uh, all really great watches. Very sturdy and durable as well. They have a little bit of heft to them, which is really nice. So I really would highly recommend them, and I love them a lot. Orient, as of course you guys know, this is the only watch in my collection right now. I just love the Power Reserve. Like I said, the only thing that I wish that it had was the date window. I think that that would make it such a beautiful, complete watch. And I know Orient does make these watches with the date window, although I usually do prefer to see the minute hand extend out to the minute track, so sometimes it's a little easier to tell what time it is and everything. It's something that I prefer to see. It's not like an absolute requirement, but Orient makes just such great watches. And in my opinion, I almost sometimes prefer Orient to Oris, to be honest with you. Orient is more affordable. That, to me, out of every single, literally, brand on this list, I would give Orient the heads up. That it's probably my favorite affordable. They almost have any kind of watch for any kind of situation that you need. So Orient is like top of like my list. I happen to love them a lot. And I also owned a Quartz Day Date, which was very nice. It's just, you guys know my opinions towards the Quartz watches. Let's see, knockoffs. It's always nice to dream big and have watches that you normally can't afford, and to be able to show them off. But knockoffs are not meant to be showy kind of watches. They're just meant for you to have and just be like, oh, this is kind of cool. I could look down and have a version of the real one. Although they're not very well made, a lot of them break down very easily. Some of them are made very well. I know one of Drew's watches, one of his Patek Philippe Skeletons, runs very well every day within like a few seconds, which is phenomenal, whether it's fast or slow. But in terms of resale, I mean, you'd have to group them with other watches and stuff, and sometimes just a little knock or a little bang throws the whole thing off. Whereas with a regular watch, all right, a watch could take a little bit of a bang into something a little bit. Maybe it'll get a little scratched, fine. Especially on a stainless steel band. Hopefully the sapphire crystal doesn't crack. Usually it won't. Um, but so knockoffs that I've had, they were nice, but if I can't afford it, I just won't get it. Let's see. The Mito watch is absolutely fantastic. The Great Wall that I've had, I know you guys have seen it in past episodes. I no longer have it. And my all dial limited edition that was inspired by the Coliseum. Absolutely great, beautiful pieces. They're also very affordable. They almost have a watch for really any occasion. I happen to have a lot of respect for that brand. I've had a lot of watches with them. They're very accurate. They're beautiful, nicely sized, great designs. I like the fact that they're inspired by architecture. Just absolutely wonderful. I've also had the other brand that I will say is very good is Hamilton. Like I said, I've had the Jazzmaster and the Viewmatic. Hamilton makes so many great watches, and they have such a diverse kind of portfolio of a little bit of everything for no matter what taste you have. Different dial colors and different shapes, and you could use the watches on so many different occasions. And they're also very affordable, pretty damn accurate, I would say. I happen to like them, have a lot of respect for them. I believe that they're a Swiss-made company. They used to start on the railroad. I think that they used to be an American company, but they're really a good brand, and they have very good watches, and they are very durable, and I like them. Let's see. The Concords that I used to have are also very, very good. The Concord Mariner, which you guys will end up seeing with Drew eventually, and the Centurion. Concords back in the day were like the watch to have for sports luxury occasion. That was like one of the first watches besides I'm gonna throw out the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak watches and like steel. Like those were like the high end steel watches that when they first come out, a steel watch that costs more than gold. The Concorde was that in like the quartz version, in my opinion. Great watches. I've had them. The Mariner is just beautiful and they're very versatile. The clasp on them, they have a special like safety clasp feature where you have to like buckle it a certain way. Although over time that does wear down, it gets to be a little bit of a pain, and sometimes the pin comes out on it a little bit, and then you have to push it back in, and then if the pin comes out, you can't push the buckle back on with the clasp. So again, it's a very nice watch, huge back in the 80s. Centurion, more of a dress piece because it's got 18 karat gold in it. That's a smaller watch. I think it's around 34, 35 millimeters. So it doesn't really fit today's like dress piece. Although it is a watch that is, I would say that that's the most timeless on this list and will almost never go out of style no matter what it is that you do. So I happen to like them, have a lot of respect for them. Their new watches, not so much. I wish Concord would have stayed with the old school feel because I think that tugs on the heartstrings of people a little bit more and brings their memories back. So I'm going to go into for a quick second the other watch that I recently discovered and I haven't gotten it yet. I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what's going to kind of happen with it. Now, I know you guys heard from previous episodes. I talked about Liv watches. This watch that I'm about to talk about replaces the Liv for a reason that I'll say in a minute. So, Griffin emblem. It's been around since 2013, so it's, I guess, relatively new, 3 or 4 years old. And I recently discovered them through a watch app, Govberg Jewelers. I go on that as much as people do with Facebook and Twitter and everything, and I check news and I get popular stories sent to me, and I think that it's really a great app. And so I got a popular story, and I normally don't read the popular stories because I'll just go through my feed every day. But it was for the Griffin emblem watch, and it was a great story because it says, like, most guys don't have jewelry that they can wear every day. I mean, listen, the only things that I wear every day are my gold bracelet here and of course my watch. I can't go a day like without wearing them. I mean, I feel kind of naked without it. So they were talking about, what do guys have nowadays? We don't have jewelry, we don't have anything else like that. So I'm just going to do a quick little adjustment and get up a little bit more in the camera. It was just really a great story. And then, I saw the watch, absolutely beautiful watch. They have hand winds and they have automatics. Their automatics, what I like about this one, most of the time when you get a triple date, now by the way, I did order already, but it's not expected to come in until October later of this year. So I still got another, I don't know, 5-ish months. Well, we're almost in May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, so about 5 months or so. So triple dates, having the day, the date, and the month, as well as a power reserve indicator and a 24-hour subdial is kind of cool. And that's something that the Griffin emblem offers. If you look at most other brands, they will charge you pretty much a college education to get one of those watches. And I'm like, nah, you don't need that. Again, like I'm saying, Swiss made, it doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be Japanese or Chinese made. A lot of them are also very good. Do they go through the same quality of requirements? No, probably not, or whatever it is. But their parts, I know Drew would disagree with me on this, but their parts are almost equal to Swiss made parts. They'll last you just as long as you maintain the watches. They will still last you a long time. So I'm really looking forward to getting that watch, and I don't know what the accuracy on it is going to be. But it looks really beautiful and really cool. And then another watch that I think that I would be looking to get maybe down the road, to kind of like put like the cherry on top of everything, because I'm a huge fan of blue dials and blue faces. I think that they're just so beautiful. I'm going to say the word. They are sexy as hell. And I happen to really just think that they pop in a different way. And when you see them, black watches, a lot of people have those. White watches, a lot of people have. Silver, it's another common color. Even sometimes a little beige or cream color, but blue watches take everything to another level. A lot of times those watches cost a little bit more money. So I want to get an Orient. It's an Orient retrograde, but it's got the power reserve indicator, day and the date, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It almost is like Oris-esque with like the hands and everything, how they extend all the way out. It's really a mix between this Orient Monarch and some of the Orises that I've had in the past, and it really just tugs at me because like the watches that I have or will have kind of sum up a lot of the watches that I used to have. Actually, the Bull of a Kirkwood, the Griffin emblem reminds me of the Bull of a Kirkwood with like the semi-skeletonized dial and everything. And the stainless steel look is just absolutely beautiful. So this one has like the eggshell finish. The Griffin emblem is going to be more of like a black dial. And the Orient, hopefully I'll get it, is the blue dial. So it's kind of like a little bit of everything, which is kind of nice. A little bit of light, a little bit of dark, a little in between with the blue, which, I just like. I'm just a little bit of a fan of. So I'm looking forward to getting that. I really hope that you guys enjoyed my hopefully not too boring list of watches that I used to own. I've had, if I had to put it, I can't put an exact number on it, over 50 watches that I've worn and owned and bought and sold in my lifetime. It's cost a lot of money, I'm not going to lie. Proud of some others. I'm just like, what the hell was I doing? But I know a lot of watch collectors out there feel the same way as me. A lot of these watches I had for a lot of different reasons, although, going forward, I just don't own any quartz watches. I don't want to change the battery on them. I don't want to have to re-overhaul the movement. A lot of times I don't even bring my watches around water, whatever it is, unless I have to. I take them off before I go in the shower. I don't wear them in the shower. I clean them once a week. I mean, I even wear them to do yard work, but then, I scrub them off and do everything, and they look just as new as the day that I got them. So, again, if you guys have any questions for me and or Drew about my past collection or what I currently have or what I'm going to be getting in, I will do a full in-depth review of the Griffin emblem when I do get it much later this year. But if you guys have any questions for us about our collection or any advice that we would have for you, or if you just want us to give our opinions or anything, let us know. My piece of advice to everybody out there, because I know I'm starting to get to the end of my video here in terms of timing, and I knew this was going to be a longer episode. Buy what speaks to you, what kind of features that you want to watch within your budget, whether you want 1 or 5 watches, one that you could pass on for generations to come. Buy watches that speak to you when you can. Go look at them in person. Try them on, feel them, see if they're too big, see if they're too small. Try to get them from sites, obviously, that have return policies. That way, if you get them, don't take off the tags if it's brand new, because then you're not going to be able to return them, or the security, tags on them, on the plastics. But, try it on for a minute. Just see if it's a watch that, fits you and your style and who you are as a brand and what you represent. And, really enjoy your wristwatches. Have them for a long time. Wear them a lot. I know more people care about their cell phones nowadays more than their watches. I get it. With your cell phone, you're more connected. But, love your watches. I love mine. I love this Monarch Orient. Really looking forward to getting the Griffin emblem in, and maybe looking forward to the other Orient, which I think is just beautiful and amazing. And, the other watches that I've had, they were great, and I'm glad that they have other owners that will use them more than I would have, and will enjoy them for many years to come. So, so don't forget to send Drew and I an email. I will put that in this episode, in this description below. Leave us your comments. Let me know what you think. Do you like the way even we dress or we don't dress, or I don't care, whatever it is. Any sort of comments are greatly appreciated. We do this show for you guys, the viewers. We enjoy doing it, but we really want to interact with you guys. Next episode, we're doing high-end watches. I already compiled my list. Today's Sunday. Drew's getting back. He was just at a wedding in Florida. He's getting back today. So we're going to be doing that tomorrow. Wait till you guys see what I have in store for you. I'm going to bring out the iPad. We're going to bring out visuals on these, because the watches I'm going to show you are just like unreal. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to email us, like our videos, comment. Looking forward to interacting with you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We're having a lot of fun with it. So hope you guys enjoyed the beautiful weather. Hope you had a great weekend. As long as Drew, will see you tomorrow night for another episode of It's About Time.